Hey everyone, I'm having an anxious day today for reasons, but I'm also going to talk about what made me happy this week, and hopefully we can turn that feeling around. Hopefully.
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two.
So I'm feeling anxious today, which is not uncommon, but I'm trying to turn it around because for the thing I'm going to, I really don't want to be anxious, and I'll talk more about what it is in a minute. But first, I want to talk about what made me happy this week. So first things first, I finally got my hair redone, and it's this really pretty ashy purple color that I feel like you can't see because the weather outside is pitch black. And not because it's dark, but because we have this awful thunderstorm going on. My dog right now is hiding under my desk, shaking like a little leaf, and I feel awful about it. Oh, I would show you, but I think that would interrupt her peace. So I'm gonna leave her be. So we have some thunder going on, we have really bad rain going on, which does not help with my anxiety because ever since the flood happened, I just have a little bit, just a hint of like storm anxiety, just a hint, which I think is normal, right? I don't think like every time it's gonna rain, it's gonna flood. I don't believe that in any way, but for some reason it does get my anxiety a little heightened, just a little bit. It's okay though. But yeah, so I got my hair done. Like the first time in a while that I actually like it, and I'm happy I took the step. I almost talked myself out of getting my hair done multiple times. I've had some bad experiences, and not bad like traumatizing, but bad as in like I really don't know if I believed in hairstylists anymore. But luckily I went to this new place and they fixed the color of my hair that was previously like a bleach stained color and now it's like a pretty purpley ash color, and I'll probably have a picture that will do it more justice. Just hold tight. So yes, I got my hair done, which of course made me happier. I feel more confident in myself, which is a really good feeling. I feel like it fits my vibe a lot more because I kind of tend to go for more pastel-y, girly colors, and that's kind of what my hair gives me. So I like it. And then I also did something new, which is kind of like a reoccurring theme because as I'm trying to find happiness, of course, I'm going to explore new things because obviously what I'm doing currently isn't giving me the most happiness that I feel like it could. So another new thing I did this week was I went to a book club. So it might not shock you to know that I'm an avid reader. I read constantly, as much as I can. Right now I'm currently in the process of trying to read 3 books very quickly because they were all on the library app and they hold turned off right this week. So I have 3 books to finish within like, I don't know, a couple more days. So I gotta buckle down. But I wanted to mention maybe a couple books that I've read that I thought were really good, and maybe you might find them entertaining as well. One of the first ones I read was Behind the Net, and I actually like this one so much I got my husband to read it, which he doesn't read romance typically. And that's okay. We can talk about all kinds of books. I'm not stuck in one genre, but I do kind of tend to like romance in my stories, whether that be a fantasy romance, a general romance, sci-fi romance. I don't know. I like to have a little hint of love in it because it makes my heart happy. So I liked Behind the Net a lot, and I'm sure it's been popular on Book Talk and everything, so a lot of people have probably heard of it. But it was actually a cuter story than I thought it was going to be going into it. I thought it was going to be a lot less plot and a lot less confidence boosting was the best way to put it. Like, it's a really good confidence boosting book. So if you're in the mood for that, I highly recommend Behind the Net. And then I also read A Crown of Ivy and Glass, which I'm kind of bummed because I looked at the reviews and it didn't have very good reviews, and I read it and I actually quite enjoyed it. So I don't know if maybe people are expecting something different because the author did write a lot previously to this book. This is her adult debut. And I thought it was really good. And some people had some complaints about like the plot and following the plot and things like that. I didn't find I had an issue. So again, I recommend it. And it hits some heavy topics that I think fantasy heroes typically don't talk about. Well, I say fantasy heroes, heroine I should say. But it is a female who is kind of in a fantasy story who deals with things like anxiety, depression, panic as she calls it. And I found it a really good read. And I wouldn't say it was like a 5-star for me. It was like a 4.5 just because I could see what some people were talking about plot-wise. In the middle of the story, it kind of shifts maybe, and doesn't make it very clear about how it shifts, but I was able to follow it just fine. And so I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend that one as well. It was a good read. Don't let the reviews scare you away, because I don't know, I didn't even read the reviews going in, and then afterwards I was like, wow, people must love this book, only to be shocked that it only had like a 3.5 rating or something, and I was like, oh, that's really sad. I thought it was good. Okay, my last recommendation is The King of Battle and Blood. I had put this one off for a little while because I thought I read some like iffy reviews, and I was like, oh, I'll get to it, you know. Again, another amazing read. And I should mention, I'm coming off of reading Fourth Wing, so I'm kind of into like high fantasy and things like that right now. Romance fantasy, I don't know how, adult fantasy? I don't know, is that what you call it? And so far, I don't know, I found some that have really hit the spot. So if any of those sound good, I highly recommend checking them out. And I read all those on top of reading the book that was for book club. So I feel pretty proud of myself. I really, I've read a lot recently, and I have more. I've read a couple other ones, but those are the ones that really stuck out to me this past month, I would say. So I'm excited. I'm energized to read more, and I love that feeling. Rolling from one book into another book, sometimes it can be a little hard to get into the vibe, but I just keep finding really good books. So if any of those sound good, I really recommend that you read them. So I got my hair done, which is a very big win, and I like how it turned out, which is an even better win. I read tons of books, which is so great. I love reading books. It does make me happy. I just don't know that I'm passionate enough to make it something that I deal with on the daily, if that makes sense. I'm not a very good critiquing reader. I more so read and love pretty much every book I read. It's very rare for me to find a book that I just do not like, and if I do, I DNF it. I don't really give it too much of a chance, because I just feel like I have so much to read that, you know, sometimes, and it's very rare that I DNF a book, but it has happened. So I'm just happy I found a bunch of books that I really like, and hopefully somebody here can get some recommendations. Also, I am playing a new game, which if you don't, I'm just such a homebody. I love video games, I love reading, I love pretty much anything that can keep me entertained at home, but I also like going out on weekends. I spend a lot of time at home, and I enjoy my hobbies at home. So I'm playing a new video game. It's called Cyberpunk 2077. I'm sure a lot of people have already played it. It's been out a while. I feel like it had a lot of backlash when it first got released, if I'm not remembering wrong. It got a lot of backlash because I think they released the game and it had a lot of glitching or a lot of problems, and people are really mad about that, which I would be mad if I pre-ordered and the game had a lot of bugs and stuff. But playing it now, I have no glitches, I have no bugs or anything. It's funny, I'm saying I haven't had bugs or glitches, but the game is about cyberware and stuff, so there's a lot of bugs and glitches inside the game. I don't know if anybody else finds that humorous, but I definitely do. But no, it's a really good game. I've enjoyed it so far. I'm only 13 hours in, and I think it's a pretty long game, but these are the type of games I love. It has character customization, which is the top tier kind of games for me. Any game I've loved in my life has had character customization, and it's RPG, role-playing game, which again hits that spot for me. And this is actually different for me because it does have so many cyber elements. A lot of the games I've usually played are kind of fantasy based, like Skyrim. I really liked Fable, which again was kind of more based on an old town vibe, an old Renaissance-y, no, not Renaissance, just an old town dragons and dungeons and fantasy feeling. If a new Fable game came out today, I don't know that I would be able to do anything else with my life. That's how much I love Fable. I also love games like Skyrim, of course, Fallout, all the Fallout games. I love all of them. So just that's kind of my realm of video games. I also like simulation games and stuff like that. But my niche is definitely fantasy games. And I'm so excited to play Baldur's Gate 3. I've seen so many good things about it. I'm just waiting for it to come out on PlayStation because I'd rather play it, I think, on there because I spend so much time on my computer lately. So it's really hurting me, but I'm waiting till it comes out, and I just keep seeing people playing it, and it's making it harder and harder to skip. Oh, but if you've played it, let me know because it sounds very fun. So I've done a lot of really exciting things this week, obviously, and I feel proud about that. I'm happier. I definitely feel happy today. However, I am anxious, which is the story of my life. But today it's because of a doctor's appointment, which if you have health anxiety, you might be able to relate to this, but for me, a doctor's appointment is kind of like Schrodinger's cat, right? Inside of a box. For me, I don't know that anything's wrong right now. I don't want anything to be wrong, but when I go to the doctor, it could open up the box and something could be in there or something could not be in there. I could be ill in some way or I could not be ill in some way. Most of the time when I go, I am not ill in any way. But for some reason, my anxiety is just so latched on to this health anxiety of like, gonna get sick or something's gonna be wrong with me or the doctor's gonna like somehow judge me in some way, which can happen. I've had it happen, but this is a new doctor, so I think that helps increase my anxiety by quite a bit. But I'm one of those people, I do get my yearly checkup, and this is a PSA. If you do not get your yearly checkup, do it. It's so important. You catch so many things earlier on, and that's not just my health anxiety talking. This is just like a general, like everybody should get their checkups, their blood tested, everything like that yearly. I really recommend it. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to see my new doctor, which is scary. I don't know if I like it. I'm nervous, but it's okay. I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna be an advocate for myself, which is the hardest part. I really have trouble speaking up to people who I see as like authority figures or people who I feel like should be very good at their job. I have a lot of trouble sticking up for myself or explaining myself to them. And I know I need to get better at it, especially because I'm an adult, you know, I kind of have to advocate for myself. It does not make it easier. So I'm gonna go into this with a list of things I want to ask about, a list of things to mention, and hopefully when I come out of this meeting, I'll feel accomplished. I'll feel like I hit the nail on the head and I said everything I needed to say and we had like a very productive meeting. But if that doesn't happen, it's not my fault. You know what I mean? I tried my best and that's okay. So that's kind of why I'm anxious today. But speaking of all the things I did this week, made me feel pretty good. I feel a little less anxious. Woosah, as my husband would say. So I'm ready for it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna hopefully do good and speak my thoughts properly, advocate for myself, and if anything feels off, I can leave. I gotta remember that. I am not stuck. I'm not beholden to this appointment. If anything feels off, I can leave, and that's fine. For this video closeout, I'm hoping that you got inspired to read something or play this game that I talked about, Cyberpunk. Just because, you know, I feel really good if somebody heard something I was talking about and was like, oh, that sounds great. That's what I hope you do. So have a great day and I'll see you soon.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you.